Hello everyone, I'm Romo Wagon Wheel and welcome to the video. To some of you who may or may not know, My Little Pony will be ending on the 9th season, which is a shame because I really like My Little Pony. And even though it's not a very complex series, I still enjoy it nonetheless. They've done a lot of stories with friendship and different characters. However, there are things in the series that they haven't addressed yet, or made a story about characters that should be made into a story. Now, before the series stops altogether, I would like to bring up a few things that Hasbro, the creators who made My Little Pony, should make into a story or bring up characters and stories that haven't been addressed yet. And so, I have decided to make a small list of things I would like to see before My Little Pony stops. So with all that said and done, let's go. The first character I want to bring up is Lightning Dust. Lightning Dust is a character that I've been interested in ever since she was introduced. She's made one cameo, and that was when we was introduced to Rainbow Dash's parents. We saw Lightning Dust as a filly, and it was in non-speaking roles. Now the reason why I wanted to come back is because, one, Lightning Dust and Rainbow Dash have a lot in common. They're both competitive, they both want to be Wonderbolts, they're both very similar, but Lightning Dust is more reckless and has a bigger ego than Rainbow Dash, and her lack of teamwork and safety of her comrades is what I assume kicked her off the team, which I assume she did because we never ever see her again, and I would really like to know what happened to her. Now, who here remembers Gilda? Gilda is a griffin and Rainbow Dash's longtime friend. In season 1, they had a big argument and they didn't see each other until, I assume, season 6 or 7. Rainbow Dash still held a grudge towards her for antagonizing her friends. But Gilda learned from her mistakes and she said sorry to Rainbow Dash, and now they're friends again. And then there's Junifer from Equestria Girls. Junifer tried to sabotage the movie set that she was working on with her uncle, but the main 7 stopped her and she got kicked out of the studio, and since then she held a grudge towards the main 7. And then when we saw her again, she had a magic mirror and she sucked the main 7 inside of the mirror to get revenge on them, and Starlight Shimmer tried to convince her to stop, and it's revealed that all she wanted was to be liked, and she apologized for her actions, and the main 7 forgave her. These are two characters that had a rocky past and was redeemed in later episodes or movies. They learned from their mistakes, so why can't Lightning Dusk come back and learn from her mistakes and have Rainbow Dash as her friend again? Because I really want to know what happened to her. And to have a pony that's like Rainbow Dash is very interesting. She is what Rainbow Dash could have been if she didn't have her friends, and to have a story revolve around her would be interesting. If other characters can have a redemption, then why can't Lightning Dust have one? The next thing I want to bring up is the Apple family and the Pear family. In the episode where we get to see Applejack's parents, we are told about the feud between the pears and the apples, and we are also introduced to Applejack's grandfather, Grandpa. I will not dare say what goes on in that episode. You guys will go and check it out for yourselves. And when you do, please come back and listen to me with my suggestion. This episode was very, very beautiful and was highly praised by everybody, so it is worth a watch. So basically, the Pear family had this feud for many, many years, and Grandpa comes back to Ponyville, and one thing leads to another, and he and Granny Smith make up, and Grandpa is now part of the Apple family. Now the reason why I want a episode with him in it is because even though Granny Smith and Grandpa made up, but what about the rest of the Pear family? There's family on Grandpa's side that Applejack never met. And also, even though Grandpa apologized for the way he acted towards them and he's now part of the Apple family, but what about the rest of the Pear family? I mean, do they know that Applejack is their relative? What about the distant family between the apples and the pears? I mean, is the feud still going on with those guys? Even though Grandpa and Granny Smith made up, what about the rest of the families? I would like to see all of the Pear family and the Apple family get together and have one big shindig. That would be a sight to see. I would love to see these two families come together and actually talk to each other. I mean, Granny Smith and Grandpa's okay, but what about the rest of the family? I mean, does the Apple family know that Applejack's mother is a pear? I know Goldie Delicious knows, but what about the rest of the families? So yes, that's another episode I want to see. The next thing on the list is Lord Tyrek and Scorpan. Lord Tyrek was in the first generation of My Little Pony, and he was also in the 4th season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, in the last 2 episodes of the 4th season. Now that Starswirl the Beard has come back, I think that they should bring back Scorpan, because in a flashback, it seems that Scorpan befriended Starswirl the Bearded, and when Scorpan got to know the ponies of Equestria, he had a change of heart and tried to convince Tyrek to abandon their plans, but Tyrek wouldn't have any of it and he declined, so Scorpan went to go and warn Luna and Celestia on what Tyrek was going to do, and that was steal equestrian magic. So Scorpan left Equestria and went back home, and Tyrek was imprisoned in Tartarus. I mean, who's to say that Scorpan isn't alive? I mean, if Lord Tyrek can still be alive, then who's to say that Scorpan can still be alive? There was also a younger version of Lord Tyrek and Scorpan when they was kids, or teenagers or young adults, or whatever, you know. And this was in the comics. I would like to see a reunion and the appearance of Scorpan and Tyrek. And I'm going to be honest, I mean, what can Lord Tyrek do at this point? Tyrek isn't a threat to the ponies of Equestria anymore. You've got the main 6, Discord, Starswirl the Bearded, Luna and Celestia, the Crystal Kingdom, the Dragons, and the Changelings. So I think it's time that Lord Tyrek and Scorpan had a reunion again. I think Tyrek would actually be angry at Scorpan for betraying him, but Scorpan might actually miss Tyrek. Despite all the horrible things that Tyrek has done, Scorpan is still his brother. We got to see Starswirl the Bearded, so why can't we see Scorpan and have Lord Tyrek come back? I honestly think that this would be really cool to see. So with that said and done, on to the next one. The next thing is King Zombra. And yes, I know Zombra was destroyed in Season 3, but if you guys was to read the backstory of Zombra in the comics, you would find that King Zombra's past is very, very interesting. Who Zombra was, where he came from, and the revelation what happens to him. I just found Zombra to be very interesting. I mean, they don't have to bring him back, but I would like to see him again before the series ends. Because having him come and go without even explaining his background or where he came from, if you guys saw what was in the comic and saw where Zombra came from, then you would know where I'm coming from on this. His backstory is pretty damn good, so yeah, on to the next one. The next one I want to talk about is Trixie and Twilight. Now these two have been at odds with each other for years. Trixie has always been a show-off and always tries to show up Twilight, and it has been shown that Twilight doesn't like Trixie either. So I think it's a good idea for Trixie and Twilight to get along with each other, simply because of Starlight. Starlight is Twilight's student, and Trixie and Starlight are best friends. So I think an episode that revolves around these two would help their character development. Okay, this next one has been bugging the crap out of me, and I would like some answers, and it is the Dazzlings. I mean, what happened to them after the end of Equestria Girls movies 2? I mean, we was told that they're just normal regular girls now because they got their amulets destroyed. After their amulets was destroyed, they just ran away and we never see them again. The Dazzlings are probably one of the most interesting characters in Equestria Girls, and Adagio is probably one of the most interesting villains in the series. I mean, at the very least, they could have told us where they've been and what they've been doing, because this question has really been bugging the crap out of me. And also, I would love to see their pony forms, because since their amulets are gone, they're no longer those beasts that manifested themselves in the movie. I would really like to know what happened to them, or maybe they could come back and try and get revenge on the main 7. So please, 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 please bring back the Dazzlings. The next character I want them to bring back is Spoiled Rich, and the reason why I want them to bring her back is because I want them to have her and Diamond Tiara rekindle their roles as mother and daughter. Spoiled Rich was always horrible to Diamond Tiara, and when Diamond Tiara finally stood up to her mother, I didn't actually feel that their relationship was that of a mother and daughter relationship. I actually hope that they can make an episode where they both go along and start loving each other again. Instead of Spoiled Rich being all bossy and horrible to Tiara, Spoiled Rich started loving Tiara the way a mother is supposed to love her child, instead of teaching her to be all high and mighty. And last and simply not least, Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon. I'm going to be honest, ever since I saw this episode of where Daybreaker came in, I didn't actually think about what if Celestia turned evil, what would she look like? But in this episode, we got to see what Celestia would be if she actually did turn evil. And to be honest, even though I like Nightmare Moon better, simply because she's more of a soft-spoken, sinister classic villain, Daybreaker seems to be more of a loud and showy villain, which isn't bad. However, I would love to see an episode where she comes back and she almost destroys Equestria. Luna and Celestia are very, very powerful alicorns. And it seems that their evil counterparts are even more powerful than they are. Some will debate over this, which one is the most powerful version. Some say Celestia will win because she won against Daybreaker in the dream, but seriously, that was only a dream. I mean, can you guys imagine and Daybreaker actually fighting in the real world? I mean, can you seriously imagine that it was Twilight that had to banish her own mentor into the sun or the moon because she had no choice but to do it? Dude, that would be amazing to see. And yes, it would be a sad sight to see Twilight do that to her own mentor, but it would go full circle. Celestia banished Nightmare Moon, and Twilight would banish Daybreaker, and they would have to wait 1,000 years in order to change her back to good. That would be very, very interesting to see. So, yep, those are my suggestions. Now, what are the things that you guys want to see before My Little Pony stops? Because it's going to stop at season 9. Make a video about it, or leave it in the comment sections below, and we'll get a discussion going. And hopefully, Hasbro will look at our suggestions. I'm Pony Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And if you guys want to follow me on my social medias, I'm on minds.com, Twitch, Dailymotion, and Hatron, Reddit, BitChute, aka the new YouTube, DeviantArt, Discord, VidMe, Gab, Twitter, Tumblr, Patreon, GoFundMe, PayPal, and my other social medias are down there in the description box below, so if you want to go and check them out, please do. And don't forget to subscribe and share this video. And please go and check out my new skeptic channel, Gypsy Freak. It's also down there in the description box below. Peace out.